Hello and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Age of Sail. In the last episode we managed to capture ourselves a first-rate Victory class ship of the line, and we are going to rename her just HMS Glory, which goes against our naming convention, but she's going to keep her name. Glory is a very, very nice name. 22nd of July 1805, a combined Franco-Spanish fleet is returning from the West Indies. We must prevent them from linking up with the French fleet blockaded at Brest, or we will be unable to prevent them from clearing a path to cross the English Channel. If we fail, Napoleon will cross the Channel and all will be lost. Now, this is going to be a pretty hard battle by the look of it, but we do have a lot of French ships to fight. It will be interesting. We do have a full contingent of first rates and second rates, so let's get into it. We have spotted the French fleet that is attempting to break our blockade near Cape Finisterre. The French fleet has formed its battle line, but poor visibility is limiting our ability to scout out the fleet. We have the option to attack the rear of the French line, but the wind is not in our favour, or we can form our line of battle for the attack. The fate of England lies in our hands. Okay, so the first rates are Victory, Vengeance, Valour and Glory, followed up with a second rate of Ardent, and the other wing is the Artemis, the Prince Willem, the Slaland, the Britannia and the Aragon. A lot of those have not been renamed except Artemis. We've sort of been on a mission spree. Now they have the favour of the wind behind them, so this is a reverse action in which we're coming in the opposite direction to our enemy fleet, and then we're going to give chase to the stern. Depending on how fast we are, this may prove to be a very effective tactic as we whittle away ship by ship at the rear of their formation. We have it on fast speed because I'm pretty confident that we're okay until we get into the thick of the fighting. HMS Victory is going to bring her port guns around to bear, unmasking those guns now to face this frigate here in the rear of the formation. We have a little bit of favour in the wind in that we can still come against it at that angle. The French have decided to turn around, and so it continues to be a reverse action engagement. So what our plan is to try and take as many of these French ships down. We're not going to capture them, we're just going to destroy them outright. The fate of England lies in our hands, and so we must not tarry. HMS Victory is a very, very powerful ship. She doesn't have as many guns, but as you can see, she made quick work of the Argonauta, sinking in a brilliant plume of fire. We have another frigate here that's trying to form up on the rear of the engagement. They may be cut off from their allies. The Fermi. So we're going to still continue to give chase to the stern, while their first and second rate ships turn about to come downwind and face us. Depending on how this plays out, we could split our line into two and pin them together. But that remains a backup plan as we engage this French frigate, the Fermi. Victory putting an excellent starboard broadside into the ship. Vengeance is taking a little bit of fire, but not to worry, she is also a sturdy ship. She is a larger ship and carries more guns. Victory is running a light crew because I need her to be fast. She's my backup plan and my flagship, and I don't want her to get tied down like my other flagships have in previous missions. Everyone else is fully stocked for war and boarding actions, as is our modus operandi in previous missions. These first and second rates are a lot more sluggish compared to the third rates that we've run most of our campaign, but they are true warships. The Scipion is turned about to come and face us, but she's going to take a fresh broadside as she exposes most of her keel. And so far, all of our ships have remained out of contact, really just mopping up what Victory is dishing out. And so a lot of our ships have been tied up in the last few missions, and I haven't been really happy with their performance. We've lost a lot of fleet cohesion, so in this battle we are going to remain in a fleet line as long as possible, and we're going to use that to dictate the flow of this battle. And that way it will also allow us to spread out the damage across all of our ships, and so that no one particular ship takes too much damage. Victory's just come into range of the French flagship rather, taking long range shots, very ineffective. We have upgraded our guns, but they aren't the best tier guns. Fighting on both sides, Scipion is taking a lot of damage. And now the wind has changed to the east, which is going to cause a little bit of calamity for the French line, who are coming down against it, and some of our ships that were just finishing their turn. But mostly this works in our favour. We also get the advantage of extra range now from our guns. So Neptune really has helped us in this engagement. So while the French have had to re-evaluate their plans, we've managed to take down a bunch of ships. 3 frigates. There was a Spanish ship too, so there are Spanish and French ships in this fight. The Atlas looks like a tough little mother there. Vengeance is going to put some pain out at long range. We are getting some large amounts of damage, but experience has told me that the French ships are very, very, very sturdy. This frigate has managed to get outside of our gun range with the change in the winds, so she'll remain uncontested for a little while unless we move someone out to fight her, but I'm loath to do that. Victory will continue to make her way up the line, putting fire into any ship that comes into bear while her guns are ready. We will turn Artemis out of the formation to finish off this frigate. I don't like the idea of a ship being uncontested at all. Putting some fire out at the Atlas while she does so. Very ineffectual fire. The Beaucanteur. That looks like a tough ship too, a first rate possibly. The Atlas has taken approximately 25% damage on that side of the planking, which is a lot of damage. And we haven't taken much in reply because we're just outside of their gun range. I think I've shown time and time again throughout this campaign that the wind plays a huge factor in the success of your engagements, and making sure that you're maximizing the wind in your favor is going to win you battles. That tactic let one lone third-rate ship of the line dance around an entire Spanish treasure fleet, and we managed to steal her in the process. Granted, using one ship to micro is a lot easier than trying to steer a whole line of ships, so there is that fine balancing act. Our formation is looking in a beautiful line, and we're just putting fire out onto everybody. HMS Victory is coming to the end of the French line. There isn't much we can do but turn around. So we'll put some last shots out, and we'll start planning our maneuver. Atlas is taken all of her planking down, and so already we're proving the effectiveness of a strong battle line. If you outgun the enemy or outmatch them, you have a very strong possibility of a decisive victory in your favor. And so unfortunately this Spanish ship here is in a lot of trouble because she's facing against the wind, trying to follow the formation, and she will be left behind. It also gives us plenty of opportunity to shoot into her stern. And you can just see that health going right down. We have been using double shot on Victory, which is making a lot of difference. That second ship in the line, they're taking massive amounts of damage too. Final shots out there on that Spanish ship as we turn the fleet around, and we'll run up beside each other. Artemis failed in her mission. The enemy ship did sink, but then I forgot to give her orders, so we'll turn her around and try and slip her back into our line. The Spanish ship, the America, has exploded. Berwick is taking flooding. And so already this is looking like it's swinging heavily in our favor. Righty. Just make sure we're targeting ships in the line now to try and focus down the ones that have not yet taken damage. There's a second rate, the Formidable. We'll get some shots out onto her. There is another large ship in that formation, but I haven't looked at her yet. She looks very large. Make sure that we're not firing into our own ships once we come into range of the enemy. Turning the port guns off. We'll try and shoot through the gaps if the opportunity presents itself. Following suit there on HMS Vengeance. The Esplanade has lost their planking. They are in serious trouble. HMS Victory wanting to fire. Should we risk firing between the ships? HMS Arrogant would do it. So we'll do it. HMS Arrogant was our third rate, our trusty third rate that lasted most of the campaign. Unfortunately, I did have to sell her. She just simply wasn't able to fight in these large fleet engagements, but her spirit will live on. Another ship taken out. We only have to sink 3 more to complete this mission. We could easily go for a clean sweep here. The Spanish and the French not knowing what's going on. The wind has slightly changed now to the northeast, so we will match that trajectory to get as much speed as we can. Still holding fire, making sure not to shoot our own ships. Artemis is now struggling to get back to the formation with that change in the wind. The Intrepid has broken formation. She's trying to cut across our formation, possibly heading towards the Artemis, or maybe to try and get shots into Aragon, who is moving fairly slowly now with that wind change. The rest of our formation is going to struggle to get up ahead of that. The bonus is that once the snake starts to move down, the rear ships will just turn around in the wind and follow. But it's not ideal. Terrible has taken massive amounts of damage. We're going to turn HMS Victory in to try and wiggle around the shots that are going to come back in a second. Still holding fire on the left gun deck. Get that back underway. Firing at the Intrepid. Straight through the bow. Raking shots. Over 100 damage on some of those shots. Lots of crew shot going on there. The Mont Blanc is coming up to help the Intrepid, but it is going to be a futile effort. The Formidable, probably one of their only real dangerous warships in the formation that I've really noticed, is coming in to try and help. But by taking out all the smaller fast ships, we're going to leave the slower big ships with nowhere to go. That heavy wind giving us almost no range on the starboard side. Mont Blanc has decided to weigh anchor for some reason. We'll get some shots into Formidable. We are now actually on fire in the HMS Victory, not just under fire. We'll turn her away. She's done a brilliant effort this job. Switching to double shot to try and finish off the Intrepid. Mont Blanc looks like they're trying to cut through the formation, but luckily we have Artemis there to try and block that if that happens. Formidable is going to run into her own ship, who's desperately trying to get out of the way of Vengeance's cannon fire. Mighty roar cracking across the decks as the two ships collide. Men, ropes, sails, everywhere. The captain of Intrepid is desperate to get out of Vengeance's way, but you cannot escape our vengeance. She is a very powerful warship, and getting that close is never going to be a good thing for you. She's our biggest warship, I think, out of all of our first rates. And that's why she takes second place in the line. She's the brawler. Atlas, who has no armor left on the on the starboard side, looking at the matchstick work there. She's coming back to fight. I don't think that's wise. It looks like they perhaps were going to run away, but they've changed their minds and are now coming back with some fury. The rest of our formation is a little bit of a mess in the background there. Atlas just losing the rear mast. She's on fire. Coming back to the fight was not wise, Atlas. And Victory looks like she may live up to her namesake and put down the Atlas without so much as laying a foot on her decks. She's now lost the foremast. She's in desperate trouble. Victory is going to turn to port to capitulate this crew, make her surrender. The crew is about ready to give up. They will become a hulk on the seas. Well, meanwhile, the Indomitable, what is this? Wow, that's a Santissima class. That's a 144 gun monster. And I think it was one of the biggest ships ever made. There was only one, if I recall correctly. But yeah, we want that, the Indomitable. That's a target. 144 gunner. First rate, Santissima ship of the line. The Atlas has lived up to my prophecy, and she is now a hulk. She has nowhere to go. The Intrepid, Indomitable, off Indomitable's stern has exploded. HMS Victory is still on fire. I'm going to get some fire out onto the Formidable, who cannot reply in this wind condition. Leaving Atlas there to her fate. We don't want that ship. But we do want the Indomitable, so we're going to try and chase them down. Meanwhile, this first rate here has got itself tangled up, and I think we might take this one. We'll get Aragon in on a boarding action. Oh, but she's about to receive a lot more crew. Maybe I should change to Grape Shot there. Try and get some of that newly acquired crew they're about to get. Okay, no. They're not taking on crew. That would have been pretty dangerous for our boarding action, actually. Despite that, I've got some crew ready to help the Aragon if needed. But Bocantor is running away now. They don't want anything to do with that fight. The Atlas has now dumped her crew. They're giving up on that ship, if it can even be called such. How am I going to get close to this? This thing will wreck the Victory. It already has done significant damage to her. Oh, HMS Valor has taken a lot of damage too. Bocantor has done something through the bow for sure. Get that crew back on the Valor. Get her underway. She's in trouble. Get some Grape Shot in, and then we're going to turn around behind her and try and repay that favor that she just dealt to us. They were in really good condition a second ago. Granted, I am playing at double speed, but I feel pretty confident. And this is what we suffered from in the last battle, and that's what I didn't want to get tied down into close range brawls for too long, because the French ships are very sturdy and they just do a lot of work to us. We haven't upgraded any of our armor or anything in this campaign. We've focused on having maximum amount of crew and maximum amount of speed for boarding actions. Our whole fleet has been rigged around that doctrine. And so in a few of the close range engagements, we've really suffered. And as a result, we lost a couple of ships through neglect on my part. We have completed the objective, but I want to do more damage to these guys because they're not getting to England and they're never coming here. Never ever shall they set foot on British soil. Not if this Aussie has anything to do with it. So, Beaucontour, we're going to chase her down and ruin her life. It seems that the flagship, the Indomitable, and an escort are trying to flee from the engagement. Once I'm secure in finishing this ship, trying to get around on the right angle, I will sort out the Indomitable, or try and chase her down because I don't want her to get away. But as you've seen in other episodes, we take taxes when we take damage, and I don't like taking damage. So we're taking this ship as taxes for damage dealt against His Majesty. We have lost Captain J. Dawkins to a wound. Alright, HMS Victory is going to head up the charge, and we're going to chase down the Formidable and the Indomitable. Formidable looks like she's trying to lead her flagship off the battlefield to get the Admiral to safety. A few of our ships aren't in any capacity to help, but we have taken this one here, so she's ours. French ship has capitulated to ours. Swords! Oh, they might get away. I don't know. We've just got to really ride the wind line here. Maybe try and take out the sails. Would that be wise to turn around for that long? We're making 11 knots. I don't see those guys going much faster than that. They're not running an optimal angle to the wind, which is going to help us a little bit. Right, this is just a matter of chasing them down. We're at maximum time compression, but we absolutely must capture the Indomitable. They are not going to bring something like that to the fight and get away with leaving with it. No way. So we'll turn off a second wing to try and chase from another angle. The Britannia and the Ardent might be a little bit faster because they're in a better condition. Yeah, so Britannia's making 12 knots across that line there. I think Victory's probably taken a bit too much damage to give up an effective chase. "12 knots looks like that's probably the best we're going to do. And I think they're pulling away from us. We're giving too many maneuver orders and it's slowing us down a bit. The San Rafael is trying to run with a lot of men in boats rowing furiously afterwards. Might turn one of our ships about to face them. Give him some backup in the form of the Artemis. Yeah, these guys are going to get away. No! You must not leave the battlefield. Dishonorable display. Shameful display. This is actually making me furious. I want that ship. I must have that ship. It must be added to the fleet. Look at it. 4 gun decks, 144 guns, and we are managing to catch her a little bit at a time, reeling her in slowly. But I don't know if it's enough. It's just waving that French flag, the tricolours in my face as they sail happily off into the northern reaches. Unfortunately for their little frigate friends, it's not going to be the same fate for them. They will be finished off and they'll be left there in their little rowboats because the spite of this admiral knows no bounds. Oh, I really can't tell if I'm gaining or not. I mean, we've definitely caught up from before when we had the other ship in the front. Victory. But she'd taken too much damage. Try and turn Prince Willem out with Glory as a backup. But this is the way the little horizon works. It's kind of leading me to think that they're getting away. And they're pretty close to the map edge. I think I'm so focused on capturing this ship that I'm just letting this guy get away. Just hurry up and finish them off so I can go back. Oh, there's some big hits there. 200 damage from one shot. It's pinned between our two ships. This was my plan all along. Oh. Okay, back to the chase. How are we going? We're catching. I can see the gunner arc is catching up to the ship. But I think it's too late. We're like this so close to the map edge. Burning Frenchman. Sorry about that, guys. Catching up hard. But will it be enough? That remains to be seen. Maybe if we turn in now, we can close this distance a bit and help increase the closure rate from a different angle. Where is the map edge? Are we close to it? Gotta be. They're right on the mini-map. They're right on the edge. Oh, there's the line there. Damn it! They're going to get away. Damn it! Oh, wait a minute. Indomitable's turning around. She was leading Formidable away. She was protecting Formidable. I had it wrong. I thought that the Formidable was her escort off the battlefield, but no. Indomitable wants to fight. And we're gonna have our shot. We're gonna capture her. Now, she's doing some tricky maneuvers here, like a J-turn. But she's still in the battlefield by just a hair. And that's enough. Alright, so don't get complacent. We have absolutely no range because of the wind conditions if we come across the starboard. But if we go for the port angle, it means that we leave the battlefield, so I have to go across the bow. Alright, Prince Willem's got the same issue, but reversed. Okay, the wind is helping a little bit. As we turn across it, it will extend our range slightly. We have the grape shot ready. She already has taken armor damage, so we should be able to... She has a lot of crew, 1,123 men. We'll aim low with the grape shot. 20 men in the first barrage. If we slow down a little bit, we may get a second shot before she replies. Taking out 50 men. She's opened fire on Prince Willem. Fortunately missing the Britannia, remembering she has 144 guns. No doubt of all different calibers, but that is a lot of guns, and we'll be fighting all of them on both sides because we need to do a double boarding action here. If I can get Britannia in the way. Running at normal speed, we're too far away to throw the lines, so it's going to be up to Ardent to do it. High stakes actions on the high seas. The fate of our Lord, the fate of our King, the fate of our sovereignty lies in this battle. Can we stop the French from invading England? And can we take the Indomitable? That all remains to be seen as we continue our saga in the British campaign for Age of Sail. Glorious moment on the high seas. The British fleet has caught up to the Indomitable because she became too arrogant, thinking she could take us on in a fight. I was panicked that she was going to leave the fight. I accused her captain of being a coward, and it turns out he wasn't. And so now, he shall give us his sword. The boarding action is underway. We have a support ship there fitted with grape shot. Lieutenant Richard Shepherd has been wounded in the boarding action. We are starting to really take this boarding action. We are not losing many crew at all, and they are losing them in the dozens. But nonetheless, we're going to put some extra crew up into the ship to top up the fighting men and show the Indomitable that she can be dominated. After all, she will wear the British colours. Lots of fury on the deck, blue and red coats flurrying about, bayonets clashing, swords clashing, muskets, smoke, splinters, shot, everything. Hell on the high seas. But from a spectator's point of view, we just sit here casually watching the men do what they need to do. The fighting is starting to balance out now. We are losing an equal number of men at a time. The ship is still taking damage from its other side. That starboard side really got wrecked in the initial line fight that we had at the start of the battle. We've lost Captain Evelyn Miles. Rest in peace, killed in action. 1,200 men still on, and we have now taken the Indomitable. We have done the impossible and captured ourselves a Santissima ship of the line. We only captured 2 ships of that battle, but they were good ones. Santissima has 32, 24, 12 and 9-pounder guns. I'd be crazy not to add her to the fleet. Welcome. And yeah, so I'm very happy to have captured her. For a long time in that battle, I thought I was going to miss out on such an amazing ship. I can't wait to use her in the next mission. We're going to deck her out and spend every single cent that we have on making her a fighting ship to be scared of. Because the next battle is the Battle of Trafalgar, and I'm super stoked, super happy to be able to fight that battle. But we are nearing the very end of the campaign, so if you've enjoyed the series so far, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, because very soon we'll be starting the American campaign, and that is exciting as well. Until next time, Commander Tyrael, out.